Let me tell you something now, this is ball hour, and we can ball all hour. Drag the ball backwards, captain ain't having it. Left them all fractured, home advantage. When we score the goals, we don't do the dancing. All action, tell them again, enjoy the show, this is all facts here. We've been grafting all year long, you ain't getting right here. I've been grafting all season, I want player of the year. Yeah, pro contract with a FIFA card. And the man them there like he is hard.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to your favourite non-league show, Ball Hour. And today we've got a very, very special guest. Former Hemel Hempstead manager and current Leighton Town manager, Lee Bircham.
How are you, mate? All right?
I'm good, thanks. How you doing?
Yeah, good.
Good. We've got so much to touch on.
Right.
And we've already spoken about quite a bit before, a few minutes ago. But before we get into Leighton Town and how your current season's going, how did you get into management? I think when I did a bit of digging on you, you used to play for Fisher, Kings Langley.
There's a lot of clubs, Kings Langley.
Bircham
got me thinking, Birko, Livingston Green. Well, I never played with Birko. I had one game for Birko.
Technically, you played for them.
Technically, I had one game because we were short. We had to go last off the way, and we had a bare 11.
Oh, okay.
So I had to play, and I put myself in a 10, obviously, when I played. But we had, one game for Birko. But Livingston Green, played in Australia for a year. That was good. Enjoyed that.
How long were you there for?
For the 9 months or whatever it was. A bit of travelling involved as well, but loved it out there. Beaconsfield, it was Beaconsfield Cyclob. So a lot of clubs, but then I'm an old man now, so I've played football for a long time. You're going to play a lot of clubs, but really enjoyed it. Good non-league career.
Okay, good. And then how did the transition from being a player to being a manager come about?
Probably by breaking my leg. I was playing at Aylesbury United, and funny enough, at Leighton's ground, they were ground sharing at the time.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was a cold night. Probably the game shouldn't have been on. We was falling up at the time. Yeah. I was playing left back, and instead of being left footed and going one way, I was right footed, cut back. Lad come through. It wasn't a bad tackle. It was overzealous. It was a proper tackle, but he didn't need to make it. But just literally broke my leg then. And I was 36 at the time, 37 might have been.
Okay.
And I was just so focused on playing again. All I wanted to do was play. And I had 9 months rehab, trying to get back. I think it was month 8. They did another X-ray on my leg and realised that the operation they did wasn't a good one. They put in a rod that was too big for my leg, and it was coming through the bit where the kneecap is. So I had to have it redone again, re-broke again, and start again, sort of from scratch. So by the time I got back playing, or anywhere near playing, I was well in 38, coming on to 39, and there was no way I could play 2 games a week. So literally, to be fair, Aylesbury, I still had a few games for them, probably more, like charity sort of things, because you've made the comeback, so you get a few appearances. But I went back there, but it was just too much. My leg couldn't cope with it. So I joined my local, where I live, about a mile up the road, is a team called Bovingdon.
Okay. I've heard about them. Yeah.
I didn't have a clue what league they was in or wherever. It just literally was the nearest to my house.
They're currently step 7?
Step 7.
Yeah.
So, and the reason I went up there, it was one game a week. They had no floodlights, nothing like that. So my body and my leg could cope with 1 game a week. So I knew I could play on a Saturday, got a week's recovery to play again the next Saturday. Whereas it's fine saying it, you only play one, go join a club where you can play once, you don't play on a Tuesday, but it's not like that, If you're playing on a Saturday, you want to play the Tuesday, you want to play the next game. So went up there, I think I did season, maybe 2 seasons. Enjoyed it. Was enjoying it. We was not mid-table, probably 5th, 6th, and sort of you still get the bug. You want to win it. You want to win the league. Anyway, the manager left, or what did he do? I think he left or something like that. And the chairman come up to me and just said, "Do you want to do it?"
What, as a manager?
As a manager.
How old were you at the time?
I was 40. It was 40.
Wait, so you were playing?
I'm still playing. Yeah, I'm still playing. I was 40. But I was in better shape than I am now. I was all right then.
I need to see pictures.
But to be fair, when I broke my leg and I was trying to get back, that was the slimmest and probably the fittest that I've ever been, because like every night I was doing the exercise bike like an hour and a half. But I become obsessed, a little bit too obsessed. It's bad.
Is it because the injury period was such a long time?
Yeah, I think the rehab was, and I wanted to prove the point to myself that I could play football again.
Okay. Yeah.
When all the doctors said you'd never play again with a leg break I had, it was horrendous, the leg break. But I just wanted to prove I could, and not of the same level I was playing before, but a lot of medication, a lot of painkillers to try and do it. But got back to it. But it was So I'd been about 40 still playing, but it was tough, and I just thought managing. I'd never. It wasn't something I'd. I just wanted to play forever. I wanted to keep playing. I wanted to play till I was 45, 50. I'd never wanted to stop playing. Yeah. So I generally thought managing, right. So that means no one will drop me. If I'm picking the team, I'm playing every game because I'm the manager. So I'm picking it. So I just thought, I'll do that. Which is fine until this team starts coming good and you can't justify yourself in the team. And of all the things people say, manager, I bet it's hard dropping this lad, or I bet it's hard dropping that lad, or I bet it's hard having this conversation. Having a conversation with yourself and dropping yourself out of the team, that's the hardest one you'll ever have to make. Yeah.
You were never playing manager though.
Yeah, I was playing manager, First year. So we come runners up that first year. The club never done it before.
Okay.
And like the whole history of the club, they'd never won that league, the Hearts Senior County League. They'd never won it. So we come second the first year. Yeah. And the second year, the second year we won it like comfortably in the end. But I didn't get many games in that second year, so it's a little bit tainted. Yeah. First year was great. I played a lot of games. Second one, not so much. And then that was it. Then you're on the managing pathway, if you like. It wasn't. Other people do it different ways, but it wasn't something I'd ever set out to wanting to be a football manager. It's just you did it. You become quite good at it, and I enjoy it. To be fair, so
that's good. Okay, so just let me know if there's any gaps that need filling in. So was it literally straight from Bovingdon to Hemel Hempstead, or what?
No. So when we done what we did with Bovingdon, it's so lovely now. I've still got a couple of lads. I've got a lad now still plays with me that was at Bovingdon with me. You know, and Will Summerfield, right? He's followed me 3 different clubs now, and it's lovely when you get lads like that. And there's other lads there that have come with me to other clubs, and that was a great team for the level. It was incredible. But once we'd won that, it had no floodlights there, so there was nowhere to go.
So they couldn't get promoted then.
They couldn't get promoted.
Oh, okay. I know about
so the idea was, right, what we'll do is we'll slide from the county league, which was a tougher league, and we'll slide across to the Spartan Div 2, where you ain't got to have floodlights. Where it was an easier league, if you like, to get promoted, because in the Hearts County you don't get promoted unless you win the thing, and it's hard. Like winning any league's tough, It's not doesn't matter how good players got. It's tough to win a league. So the idea was that they was going to get floodlights, try and get floodlights the following year. Being Spartan, once you're in Spartan, it's easy to go Div 1 and go up for it once you're in the league. But it just come about that the floodlights weren't going to be done in time. So I said, look, I there's no room for me to go. I just thought, right, I'd leave it as Bovingdon. And then Birko come in for me. It was, and I've never worked with him before, Steve Bateman. Okay. He was manager at Birko. They just got promoted in second place out of the Spartan. Spartan Prem. They just got promoted out of it. And he met up with him, asked me to come and be assistant. I wasn't sure. I was really, I took a few meetings and I didn't really want to be an assistant. I just.
Do you feel like your level of, not to make it sound bad, but that kind of power and control you had as being Bovingdon manager,
I'm just a bit of a dickhead that I don't like being told what to do. I didn't at school. I'm just that sort of. I just thought, I don't really. It's not for me. Yeah. Right. But he was brilliant, like Bates. He's still one of my closest mates with it. And he set out a plan. He went, right, first year you come in, be number 2. Second year we be joint. Third year we'll swap. You be the manager. Yeah. So I was okay. So and it was good. It was to jump from step 7 to step 4. The best thing about starting off at step 7 is the mistakes you make, because you make mistakes. Like you constantly always make mistakes. Like it doesn't matter how long you're in managing, you make mistakes. But at least if you make your big mistakes there, they're not crucial ones. You can recover, you can get out of it, and you learn your mistakes in step 7 rather than being parachuted in at step 2 or step 3 or step 4.
Just running the deep end.
You can sort of learn a lot more doing it that way, but it's a bigger gamble going down to step 7 because you've got to crack it. If you don't crack it then, where'd you go after that sort of thing after step 7? But so it basically took me to Birko. Had a really good first year. Budget was ridiculous. It was like, but I didn't have a budget at Bovington. It was paying subs, so I think it was just.
Was the budget ridiculous in comparison to?
Yeah, it was just ridiculous.
What
it was ridiculous.
Bovington
When you look back at it now, it was ridiculous, but it was tiny.
Can you disclose that information?
Yeah, I think. Well, for the level now for that step forward, it wouldn't. It would be mid-table step 5 like now in the league it was, but we managed to get. We just got outside the playoffs. Now, the step 4 league it was then. It had your Bromsgroves, it had your Corbies, your Howes Owens, it had your big Burnham sides in it, Coles Hills. Yeah. It's not like it is now, and I'd say the league's probably a lot weaker now, teams wise.
Really,
I definitely from what it was. They had all the big Burnham sides in there. It was a real tough league. I felt, you know. But we managed to get just outside the playoffs. Good set of lads. Lost our main striker, Matty Bateman. We kept him there a lot of times because they thought Steve Bateman as manager, Matty Bateman the striker, they thought they was father and son. They wasn't. They just had the same surname. So a lot of people left it alone thinking he's playing for his dad. It weren't. And we kept that story going, by the way. Everyone would go, everyone said, I went, his son's doing really well. And all. So everyone was believing.
People were just buying it.
Yeah, everyone was having it. It was only when they twigged that they weren't related that everyone come in for him. We lost him. Yeah. And he scored a lot of goals. It was brilliant. He went at Royston. And then I got Lewis Toomey in that. I've got Lewis with me now. Yeah. You know, and he's been having a few tough seasons getting the goals, but he just come in and set it on fire. And I had another lad called JJ and Ryan Canane at the back, and it just all come together. And we was having a brilliant year the second year, and then COVID happened. You know, we was top of the league when it all stopped, and it was a right kick in the teeth. That was like when the COVID happened. So yeah, that was our Birko finished, and we got to the summer. We was gonna switch it, me and Batesy, and then Hemel come out of the blue like nowhere, and it's just one of the things you just can't turn down. You know.
Yeah. Okay. So now I've got a very question. Did they reach out, or was there a point where like did you apply for the role?
No.
Or did you apply?
No.
Word just got round that you were doing well at Birko, and then
I've known the chairman a long time. I've known Dave because I live in Hemel, like I'm from Hemel.
Yeah.
And I've known him a long time, and it just come about that really like quite quick. Really, it wasn't like anything that was planned because I'd already made my plans at Birko what we was doing for the following year.
Yeah.
I felt a bit bad for the chairman at Birko because we'd gone through it all. Me and Batesy were switching roles, blah, blah, blah. And then Hemel just come calling, and it was like one of the things you can't turn down, you know?
Too good of an offer to turn down.
I know why Hemel come calling, because obviously it was the COVID, wasn't it? So everything had been slashed, all the money had been slashed. We had the lowest budget Hemel have ever had, you know, for a long, long time.
Yeah, is it Isthmian League or Ryman?
They was Conference South. But at the time,
yeah.
when I went in there, but like the budget was really slashed. So I know what they was thinking. I'm thinking, right, who can we get in that's not going to cost a load of money, that can get players, local players, and try and get us out of it that way without spending a fortune. I get why I got to have the opportunity, and you got to take them opportunities, you know, wherever you can get them.
Yeah.
And we had a real good first year, like really good, really. I think when it all stopped the COVID again, we was 10th.
Yeah.
And we loved it, and we was looking to kick on. But you know, the second year, it was just one of them things. We got crucified with the injuries. Everyone's got their sad story with stuff, but what a learning curve. And I loved it, loved it. And even though it didn't finish great, because you know, managers, you're only one day closer to the sack, whatever you are managing. But it's really, really loved it, and it was up the road. It was down the road for me, but it's a lot of work.
Would you go back if they
wouldn't go back? A bit naive, really, thinking that I could be dad to 3 kids, and at the time, and my daughter's obviously played. My daughter plays football as well, but I like the sort of the kids at awkward ages. So Lily would have been 14, 15 then. Alfie, the next one down, would have been about 10, and then Stanley would have been about 8 at the time. Then you know, and Alfie's really like middle one's really good at football. He plays for Stevenage, and
I think you tweeted about your son, didn't you?
yeah, he's good at it. And I don't know, really. You end up trying not to. You try and be everything. You try and be the dad. You try and be like I've got my own electrical business as well. So you try to do that and provide, and then you try and be the football manager.
Yeah.
And if I'm honest, at Conference South, you've got to be not full time, but you've got to.
It's pretty much a full time job.
Yeah, it is. I was finding that I was like coming in from work, hard day's graft, getting in, doing a bit for the family. Obviously, not getting to watch Alfie play or Lily play because I'm doing my own football thing. So I'm sending him off with other parents. So Alfie's got training 4 times a week at Stevenage. I'm sending him off all the time, never seeing him do anything.
Did you ever have that element of guilt?
No, not at the time. Not at the time I didn't, because you're so wrapped up in it. I didn't have any guilt at all with it. It's only afterwards when you come out of it and you get that time back.
Yeah.
You think, blimey, like I was out of the house all the time, like the missus. I was never there. I was always trying to watch games, but you find every night you're in the house because you feel, right, I've got to do my bit, put all the football away, do the kids' homework, do that with them, get them all ready for bed. And then once the missus, and I have a chat with the missus because she needs to be talked to as well, doesn't she? You know, they need their little bit. So, and then she'll go to bed, and then I find myself get the laptop out and watching games. You know, you're watching all, because it's all videoed now.
Yeah.
If it wasn't videoed, you'd be all right then.
Yeah.
But
really, if it wasn't being recorded, like video recorded, you don't think you'd be popping out to certain matches and?
Yeah, you would, but you wouldn't be watching every game.
Yeah.
Because it's there.
Yeah, so accessible now.
You're thinking, if I don't watch this, the other fucker's watching our game. So like, you've got to be watching it, and you end up every night up till 2 or 3 watching games.
Yeah.
Then you're up at 6 going to work.
Yeah.
And then so you suffer burnout. I think that's the main thing. You're in it, but you can suffer burnout quick. And it was, I mean, what a learning experience. I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it for the world, because it just makes you such a better manager.
What's the 1 or 2 things that you learned from that, if you can describe it? Because this is the thing. A lot, like, I don't want to give you the answers, but a lot of managers say, yeah, okay, do you know, this was a good experience, that was a good experience, and then when they get into detail about it, they say, okay, do you know, player management, managing the budget, confrontation. There's different elements that managers learn throughout various experiences. So I'm just curious, what things stood out for you during that period that you learned? Previously,
I'd always had teams where they were sort of my mates as well.
Oh, okay.
So
does that make it
the
easier?
Trust? The trust is there because you've known each other a long time, and but with the other, when you get to a certain level, there isn't that, and you know, players are not playing necessarily for you all the time. They're playing for money. There's other things they're playing for their career. It's a different ball game, and I think if I did it again, you'd be a lot more cutthroat with it. You'd be a lot more like, I don't know, you sort yourself out. Don't keep worrying about the players, or you know, you treat it like a job.
Yeah.
But that's, you don't know that till you've done it, you know, and how to juggle it, and you got to be cruel to the players. You got to be kind to the players. It's just the man managing, which I was all right with, to be fair. There was nothing I could do. Injuries are injuries. Like you can't. I made the mistake. I think first year we had a lot of players, like loads of players. We churned through so many players early on, because when you got a small budget, like you can't go and get the ones you want off the top shelf.
Yeah.
You have to keep trying. And we got a bit lucky because COVID struck, and then all the players that I knew from step 3 or 4 even, like, but I couldn't afford them at the time, become available because it's COVID. Like COVID, there's no else to play.
Yeah.
So then they become available. Like I could afford them, so I got them in, and it completely changed, like overnight with players. And I thought, right, I don't want that next year. The following year, I thought, right, we'll have a tight little squad of 18. That's it. So we've done all pre-season with a squad of 18.
The same 18.
same 18. Like same 18. We got from the start of pre-season to the end of pre-season.
Yeah.
And then the week before the season starts, 6 of them broke down injured, and the whole midfield.
Yeah.
Sam Manton, Sammy Carruthers, Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Gus Scott Morris was in there. Carla J. We had it. It was like decimated. 2 forwards, Freddie Hines, Dijon, all injured, right? All injured. And then you're scrambling. With a week to go before the season starts, where are you going to get players from then? Everyone's got their clubs. No one's falling out. Week 1, no one's falling out of their club that you can.
Oh yeah, apart
you
from
buy
like,
a
the
month.
trialists, that's still trying to.
Yeah, so you've got trialists.
Yeah.
So that's the bit. So you're throwing it in with trialists, waiting to get the players back fit. But it's that you can't lose games. You can't still lose games, and we lost too many games at the start.
Yeah.
Funny enough, we finished on 2 draws, 2 94th minute equalisers that we'd have won.
Yeah.
Otherwise, but they and that's what we finished on, the 2 draws. But you know they made a call and they right decision really if you got results wise. But you always have that sad luck story. Go, if we just didn't have them injuries.
Yeah. It's always that wife moment. So with Hemel, if I'm not mistaken, you got sacked.
Yeah.
Okay.
They wanted we mutually agree.
Is that what they came out with?
No one mutually fucking agrees. The chairman mutually agrees.
Why do clubs do that? What, just to make it seem as if it's very cordial and it's just very...
I don't know. I think it's so the manager don't feel like he's been sacked. So.
If they came out, I'm just trying to think, has any non-league club come out and said, as a board, we've decided to sack this manager? If they said that, how would you have felt?
What, if they said you sacked?
Yeah, no, if they've announced that, we've made a decision due to the results that have been going on with the club, we've decided to sack Lee Bircham. Yeah. That's what it is.
Happened.
That's what's happened. Yeah.
That's what happened.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
I don't know why a club...
Mutually terminate... Oh. It's a load.
I don't know why clubs do that.
It's a load of old tosh, that.
Yeah, I'm not having it.
Either the manager leaves because he's got another job or wants to go somewhere else, or the club sack you.
There are... When that happens, I know there are a few... I can't say exactly who, but there are a few clubs that'll come out and say, due to an offer that so-and-so has received, we've accepted his
resignation.
His or her resignation. Yeah. So I don't know why clubs.
Another
do that,
one they might say we terminated his contract, but you got to have a contract in the first place. To be
terminated. Is that what they said with you?
No, they didn't say terminated. I don't know what they. I don't know what got rid of the useless prick.
I can't believe it. On to brighter things though. Leighton Town, how's it going?
Yeah, we're going all right. It's very, very good club. Very good football club.
I've definitely got a lot of experience playing.
Yeah, you played there. You scored there last year, didn't you? You was telling me. Yes.
Come on.
That was another one. I'd set my stall out on. I'd go out to watch. So I was really enjoying the not being involved. You know, it's the weirdest thing with non-league, and I say this to managers now when they get themselves. You know, the best thing, honestly, the best thing for me ever was to go in there, see what it's all about. Some of the contacts I've made is phenomenal, for it. But then you learn so much because you come out of it and you realise, like, when you're managing, you think it's the be-all and end-all. Like, even at step 5, 6, you think, you go to bed thinking about it. Really, when you come out of it, no one gives a flying fuck.
No,
no one cares.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Right, and then but you don't realise that till you come out of it, and you're on the outside. You don't care. You're watching Man United's or the championships or whatever. Yeah. You're not watching what's going on at step 6 and 5.
Yeah,
and things like that, or even 4s, even 2s. You don't really know week in, week out. So no one really cares as much as you think they do.
Yeah.
And when I was out of it, I was loving. I was going to watch. Luckily, at the time, Alfie's Stevenage was having a lot of fixtures like they was playing Man City away, Man United away, Everton's, Liverpool's, all over the place on Saturdays and Sundays. And because I wasn't limited football, we'd go up on a Friday night. Yeah. We'd have the weekend. So
he must have been loving it as well. Just having his old man.
He was loving it because he had me back.
Yeah.
I was loving it because I was getting to watch him, and my daughter played Saturday mornings and things like that. So I was really enjoying that. But football's the drug, innit? Football's the drug that it's mad. It draws you back in.
Yeah, it just always draws you back. How long were you out of a job for then?
I got offered a couple. I got offered a couple of jobs in between.
Can you share what teams were?
No, it's not. It's not fair.
Oh, fair enough.
One at step 3, one at step 4.
Okay, cool.
And
Really good offers?
really good, but again, going back in at step 3, not so much step 4, but if you go back in step 3, you're out of the fireplace straight back into the fire a little bit with the travel and the commitments, and you're picking up. You haven't really had the break sort of thing from it. And the Leighton one, like at the time I thought, well, I don't want to manage at step 5, like blah blah. I just didn't think about it. It was the chairman. I think Paul Bonham had left Leighton, or something had happened. And
can I just chime in?
Was it you that beat him? And it weren't you that got him the sack, was it?
First
Shout
out Salamin, our new Salamis. We beat Leighton 1-0 at their ground. It wasn't after that game, for the record. I think it was a few games after, and then maybe 2 or 3 games, and then I think Paul announced that he'd left. I'm paraphrasing. I don't know if he'd left or he'd been sacked, and then we'd seen that. I think there was just some information about him going. I don't reveal too much personal information about something about an operation. Surgery.
Bad back.
Yeah, bad back, something like that. So I was under the impression it was due to that. So due to personal circumstances, he'd left, taking a step back. So and then I think they brought in his number 2, something like that. But just fast forwarding to when you got the job, I won't lie, I was quite surprised because I've seen Lee Bircham, obviously gaffer from step 3.
Step 2.
Step 2, so step 2 to step 5. So I'm thinking, okay, the first trade of thought that was going through my head was, they've offered him good money. Second thing, they've given him a good budget.
Yeah.
And then I've seen your like some of the players that you're bringing in. So I think one of them was the goalkeeper. I don't know his name. Sorry, Zevi. Yeah. So brought him in. I'm like, yeah, Lee, you lot going for the league. Actually going for it.
They're all lads I've had before. You know, they're all lads that most of them are all lads that I've had before. So they're not playing. They've all had better offers. Yeah. But it's like anything football. Sometimes the devil you know. The devil you know is better than the devil you don't.
Yeah.
But I never look at that like I'm a step 2 manager, step 5 manager.
That's how it looks like from the outside world, doesn't it?
That's all nonsense. You're just managing a team. Like you don't pigeonhole yourself as that's my level. You get an opportunity, you manage the best you can, whatever level it is, you know?
Yeah.
You manage a Bovington, you do the best you can. You manage it. It's just you manage whatever. You're not a step 2 a league manager. That's just I just don't like that attitude, you know. Yeah. It's not for me, you know.
No, I respect
football
that.
Clubs, you got to go in there, don't matter who you are, and you got to try and get a good side. But I went in, so I had a phone call from the chairman, John McLaughlin, who's the chairman at Leighton. I didn't know he was the chairman. Literally, I knew him when he was manager at Dunstable Town. Okay. Back in the day when Dunstable was the big boys and throwing the money about and everything. And he tried signing me about 3 or 4 times when he, as a player, like to go to Dunstable. And I was the manager I was with, Steve E for the time, I was about 6 years in with him, like 6 or 7 years in with him. It's gone then. Yeah. Like you're stuck. You're stuck with him, you know, like it's going to take him to leave or something drastic will happen. You don't leave, do you? Like if you've been with a manager that long. So I always said no. Always like enjoyed the conversation. Everyone enjoys the ego rub anyway, don't they, about getting tapped up and you go with it till it actually comes to go on then. Yeah. Then you shit yourself and just go back to the manager. Right. So obviously I've had a relationship-ish with him then, you know, as a manager. But that was about 6, 7 years ago. But his number was still the same. So he'd come up on the phone. I was like, what the fucking hell do you want? And he went, oh, Leighton's available. I went, no, I said, I don't think so. Like, blah, blah, blah. I said, anyway, what's he got to do with you? And he went, I'm the chairman. I went, oh, if you're the chairman, I'll come and meet you straight away. And I got chatting with him and Sean Dowley, the director for one. And do you know what? I went to watch them play. It might be Oxy Jets or someone like that. Yeah. Whether they was clever at the time by saying come down and watch the game or not, because it happened to be non-league day or something as well. So literally, we went to watch them, me and Joycey, my assistant, and there was probably about 600 people there.
Really?
And we thought, what is going on here? Like to watch a step 5.
Yeah.
Oxyjet's bought about 5, but there was about 600 like Leighton there. And it obviously you look at that and once you're in that and you see that, you don't worry about levels because it's proper football. You've got proper supporters. And you just thought, oh, you could probably do something here. If you've got that fan base at step 5, your club's got a chance. You know, one thing you can't, doesn't matter how much you do well at stuff, you can't just create fan bases. Yeah. You know, Leighton, it's a one-town club, so they're right in the middle of town. And it's getting to be a really big town now. So you can see it there, and it was just, we looked at it and we thought, okay, why not? You know, why not come down here? It's not as serious, if you like, or a step 2, and you haven't got to do 4 trainings a week or anything like that. And we just thought, oh, we'll give it a go. It sounds like a really good club. Yeah. And the budget's good enough to get some good players. It's not, like I said to you earlier, it's not anywhere near the top in that league. Yeah. But it's good enough to be, you can do something with it. Yeah. And especially with the boys I knew that would come in, they played in the heartstrings, didn't you? And they don't really know what they're saying yes to. In the end, they just say yes before they
yes
knew
to
it.
you, though, Lee. They say that.
No, I don't know. They said yes to something. But yeah, they're good lads, and a lot of them are mates of mine that have come in, but they've come in, and it surprised me how they're up for it. Yeah. But the lads have been brilliant. But as a manager, you're only ever as good as your players anyway. Yeah. No matter who you are, the players make you. Yeah, players make you. Players break you. So that's why you should never start having yourself as a manager, because you're only as good as them. Yeah, you know, it doesn't matter. You could be the world's best manager in the world. If you turn up and you've got a load of shit players, all you're going to do is make shit players slightly less shit, but they're still shit. Yeah. Right? If you could be the worst manager in the world, but you've got great players, all you're going to do is make them great players a little bit less great, but they're still great. Yeah. So it's players. It's players, not... It's managing. You've got to man manage. Man manage is important, but players make you.
Yeah. Touching on players, one player that we spoke about earlier on today, Birko, Jason
Beck.
I got to touch on it. Shout out to Jason Beck, man. Birko, how did that signing come about? Like, I saw, obviously, the situation at Wolverhampton. Yep. Then I saw his situation. So after Wolverhampton, I saw his situation with Welling Garden City. And then out of the blue, he signed for you. So he did sign for you straight after Welling Garden City, right?
He had one game. He come off from Welling. Yeah. To be fair, I've been after him for years, Becky. Yeah. He knows that. Just didn't realise how old he was. Yeah, old,
to be fair to him, he doesn't look his actual age.
He does. He does. He looks a lot older than he does.
He's going to see this and be like, oh, Bircham.
Lunatic, you chin me. But yeah, he was playing. So he was playing at Welling. I knew he had a fallout there. So I got into him. And another one that, it's like, yes, it's me that's getting it, but they're still looking at the picture and going, well, let's have a look. Leighton had 400 supporters Saturday. Everyone's got an ego. Everyone likes playing in front of supporters. Doesn't matter what type of player you are.
Everyone loves that, yeah.
Would they have jumped at the chance if I was managing another club in there that get 20 people? Maybe not. You know, definitely not. So they are going with the thing of, like, there's a lot of supporters here, so we can play in front of the supporters. So it does matter. So Becky said to me, yeah, like, I'm definitely coming. Was he suspended at the time? There was something why he couldn't sign straight away. I can't remember what it was, but there was something. So we had a gap week. Yeah. And he went, Johnny Mackey, me, old manager at Walthamstow. He said he's involved at Barking, right? He goes, could I help him out for one game to play a game? I went, well, yeah, of course you can, mate. I said, don't do nothing stupid, blah, blah, blah. 3 minutes in, he gets a red card. So, before I get Mickey in the building, he's already serving a 3-4 gamer. I was thinking,
Classic
here we
Birko.
go. But, and do you know what, mate? He's come in at Leighton and he's waited his time. He ain't give it.
Has he not been starting?
He hasn't. When he first come in,
Yeah.
he played. Then he went. I think he went to Vegas or something, and another lad come in and kept him out for a little while.
Okay.
And he never give it Charlie Big Bollocks or anything like that. He's waited his time. He's in now. Now you ain't getting that shirt off him because the way he is, he's just that type of animal. And he's been brilliant around the boys. Listen, this might, by the time this goes out, me and him might have had a ruck and he hates me. But as we're speaking now, he's been brilliant.
Don't worry, it's coming in a couple of days, so I'm sure like you lot will be good by then. No, that's good, man. You guys, are you second in the league?
We're second in the league, yeah. We're three. Stockfolder got a top 1 point above us. We've got 3 games in hand. We would have stayed there last night, but our game got called off at half time. So first time that's happened to me, by the way. But it's it's a tight league, tough league. Yeah, it is. Tough league.
How many teams? I know last season 3. Wait, was it 3 or 2?
No, 2 went up. Like, from what I experienced last year, coming into that league to this now, and that don't take nothing away from like New Salamis and Brisbane, what they did in that league, or Hadley that went up. But the league, from what I've experienced out of 2, it's chalk and cheese. The league's so tough this year. Got a lot of good teams in it. There's a lot of money in it as well, like that come into it. And it's a real tough league. And you can see that through the results. Everyone's beating everyone that way. Yeah. Whereas last year it was 2 running away, wasn't it? All like to the end.
Yeah, with the league, yeah. But then you still had like Hadley that were like 3rd.
I think they Hadley finished like 13, 14 points behind you. Yeah. Maybe more.
Yeah, no, you got a point. Because I think when I looked at the table in
and then Leighton were 4th on something like 70 points.
Yeah, it's true. I looked at the league around, I think it was mid-December, and I think it was tight from 12th first. I think like one like position after now was like 2-3 points. So I think there was a point where I think Cockfosters, not putting a lot of pressure on them, but there was a point where they weren't far off like 5th place, and I think they were maybe at 10 to 12 at that time. So no, I think you're right in saying
it just seems a tough league. It seems like real tough league this year, and a lot of good sides. I think they changed it as well. They moved out a lot of teams, moved out the league and replaced with like say Biggleswade United, who were struggling in their league, but then because they got into a different region, suddenly they get all their old players back, and we had obviously Cockfosters. I think they slid across. They might have been in there last year, but you had a few others.
They were in Essex Senior last season.
Oh, they was Essex Senior last year, and they come in, and a few others have come in, slid across, and it's just made it a real tougher league. Especially, and Stockfold went up and got promoted, who were a good side with it. So yeah, it's a tough league, and we're only halfway through. It's so far so good, but that's all it is.
If I'm a betting man, though.
You're not a betting man, are you?
I'm not a betting man.
I'm not a betting man. I've got done 7 months for that, so I'm definitely not a betting man.
That's not getting cut from this. That's not getting cut, by the way. Actually, I'm not a betting man. If I was a betting man, though, Lee, I'd bet on you guys to win the league, and I think Stockfold to finish second. I think it would have been tight between Stockfold and Fully Green were flying at one point, and this is a testament to the Spartan League because they were like I think 3rd, 4th from bottom last season. And then this season, they've just changed it up. But no, I'm keeping tabs on the league because I think after being in and seeing how exciting it is, it'll be very interesting to see.
You never think like that as a manager.
Yeah. I'm not encouraging you, by the way. I'm just thinking from a neutral perspective.
You always think of the worst. Yeah. That's the difference. I was speaking to a couple of boys last night at the game. And I was saying to them about what's the difference in like managing and playing. When you were a player, like you love the wins. You enjoy the wins. You like have a few drinks after, and you're buzzing off the wins. Yeah. And the defeats, you just shrug them off. As a player, you go, "I will win the next one."
Depending on how you've lost.
Well, that's how I was. As a player, right?
Okay, fair enough.
That you lose, fuck it, park that up. Next game, be better. Next game, be better. And you just like I sleep easy at night, even if we'd lost or whatever, because I knew I was going to put it right next game by playing. Yeah. As a manager, it's the total. I find it's the total flip side of that. The defeats, like they linger over you, like you question yourself, you struggle sleeping with it because you're questioning what you did, and the wins are just like just a relief.
Yeah.
They're not the buzz like as much. It's just a relief you've won that game. On to the next one. On to the next. Whereas the defeats, you analyse it and it just grates on you a lot more. The biggest difference I found with managing and playing is just that bit. Like when I'm playing, you just win, buzzing on to the next.
Is it a mindset?
I think it's got to be that way. I think it's the way you speak to any managers. They're like that. The defeats hurt. They hurt you.
But do you subconsciously think that this defeat or the next defeat could potentially enable me to lose my job?
No.
Oh, okay.
Nah,
I mean, not for you. I'm just saying, but from a manager's perspective.
No, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I suppose you get to a stage where if you keep getting beat or whatever, but
or if you're underachieving.
Yeah, you get to. Yeah, you shouldn't be doing it if you're going to feel pressure like that. You shouldn't be doing it because it's a thankless task. If you want to become unpopular quite quickly, become a manager. Because then you soon become unpopular. Then it depends. If you do well at it, you become even more unpopular. But it's nothing beats. No, honestly, nothing beats playing, right? And it doesn't matter how good a manager you ever become, or whatever. Playing's the best. Playing will always be the best buzz. Nothing beats that. Managing just keeps you in the changing room, keeps you active, keeps you enjoying football, and keeps you part of it. But it's not the same as playing. Playing's the best.
Did you see like a report? I think it was like a week or 2 weeks ago on. Do you know a manager called Will Still?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on managers not taking their badges? And,
it's all right.
Yeah.
Don't matter.
Yeah.
Badges are they're just a guideline for people. It doesn't give you any experience managing a football team with doing badges.
Yeah.
It just gives maybe a guideline of where you are with your coaching. But I've always said coaching and managing are two different things.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
You know, I
What's
always.
the difference for those that don't know the difference? It's just in your opinion.
I think you got to get a message across. You've got see. I grew up in an era playing football where probably the manager was the coach as well. So in non-league, right? So you're hearing his voice constantly all the time. So you end up just like a drone in your out in the end of the manager because he's doing the team talks, he's doing the coaching. So it's his voice all the time, the same thing, same tone. Not that he was saying he was saying good stuff, he might have been, but because it was constant, I just felt right when you go out managing, you've got to separate yourself from that. You can't, you're trying to do coaching, you can't see behind you, you can't see what lads are doing behind you. But if you've got a good coach who you trust and you're managing, you can watch, you can see the ones that are doing properly, you can see their body language, you can see different things. You can try and do both, but it's a lot harder to do that, and you just see things differently. So, yeah, I'd say the manager and coach are two different things. Also, the coach, to get the best out of the boys in the session, he's got to be one of your mates, or he's got to be in with them.
Yeah.
And he's got to be part of them, like bouncing off each other. You can't be the manager in that. You have to separate yourself sometimes from that because you've left someone out on Saturday and he's pissed off with you and he thinks you're the shittest bloke in the world, right? And you can't then be bouncing off him because you've left him out on Saturday. So it's one of them, mate. I just think honestly it's two different things.
Yeah.
Two different things, and it's very hard to be that manager coach.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I think you've given some examples already. What are some of the challenges that you've had being a manager? So I think one of the examples you gave was leaving someone out.
Leaving your mate out, or leave. I said the best one, the hardest one is leaving yourself out. Like that's the hardest one you got to do. That's the hardest one. But then leaving your mate out, you make a call on something that maybe it's not the right call, and you then have to go back and go. But if you made something that was wrong, you've got to go back and say, like, I've got that one wrong. Hands up. You got to keep building it. But it's hard. If anyone asks you, like, say you ask me who's the best manager I ever played for, I'd say the one who picked me the most.
Did you say that?
The one who picked me every week. He's the best. No one likes a manager that don't pick him. No one rates him. So for me, my best managers was the one that picked me all the time. That was in a nutshell. You know, they you stop with one like a manager that don't pick you.
Yeah.
You don't rate them. So it's hard. It's now you got to take yourself back. So if you're leaving a mate out, you just I've always said it. If you always treat players like you'd want to be treated yourself, and if that's wrong, well, in their eyes, you can look yourself in the mirror and say, well, that's how I would have wanted to be treated. Yeah. So I can't do no more than that. You know, if that's the way you've got, so as long as you can look at yourself and go, no, I was honest with him, and if someone had done that to me, maybe I wouldn't have liked it, but I'd have respected it. That's it. Don't try and manage a way you should get told to manage, or what don't feel right. Manage how you think's right, and then at least if you get it wrong, it's you that's got it wrong. There's no.
Do you know what one thing that bugs me? That's do you know it doesn't bug me. It doesn't bug me now as much as it used to when I was younger. I think man management from managers, in the sense of, if they are going to leave you out, I think a lot of players have experiences where they've been dropped and the manager hasn't explained why they've been dropped, or they've taken them off at a certain point in the game and they haven't necessarily explained why they've taken them off. Again, I understand it depends on how they've been playing during the game, but it's just that player management and the lack of communication I've experienced in the past. So that's probably
I was the world's biggest sulker.
Pardon?
I was the world's biggest sulker. If someone took me off, they'd blame me, smashing water bottles, and all. I was the world's biggest one. But
are you one of those gaffers that, like, if you've made a decision, for example, leaving someone out, do you like pull them aside and explain it to them? Do you have one of your coaches?
I've made mistakes doing that. So I've made mistakes thinking, right, I'm going to let them know the night before. Yeah. So they're prepared. And then something happens overnight. Mm-hmm. And then you've got to then explain to him, but in his head, he was being left out. Yeah. So now you haven't got that player. So you've mugged yourself totally. Yeah. By just letting him know the night before. So it's one of them with it really now. Like,
by the way, I'm not projecting, because I can never be a manager. I don't have no desire being a manager.
Why? Till you phone in and done it.
No, I don't.
Do you like being popular?
I like being popular.
If you like being liked, then don't be a manager. Like I said before.
No, I'm at a point where I don't care anymore. Yeah. I think there was a point where it's like, okay, because I'm a very sociable person, so I talk to a lot of people, get along with a lot of people. I think it's just, in non-league in particular, everyone has a role to play. And I think when you come to the end of your playing career, you start to figure out what you want to do. If I had a choice of being a coach and a manager, I'd be a coach. But I'd probably be a referee before I'd be a coach. Because I think there's other areas in the game that I think that I can have an impact on. So I think, not saying I have a desire of being a referee.
If you was a good referee, that'd be unbelievable.
Exactly.
Head and shoulders, because, I don't think you get a job if you're a good one. I don't think
so. Yeah, I don't think so.
You've got to be a shite one.
You must. Yeah. No, I agree. But I just don't see myself being a gaffer. But I think it's just the case where everyone has a role to play. I think there are people out there that's their destiny, that's their fate, they're good at that, or they will be good at it. I just don't see myself being a manager. So it's not me projecting. It's just from a player's perspective. Do you think it's detrimental by not explaining to a player why you haven't let them out? Why
I think there's a time and a place. I think, again, I made mistakes by maybe pulling a player out of the changing room before the game to explain to them. But you soon learn the manager's got enough to do on a day.
Yeah, no, 100%. Right.
So it's one of them
It's
one of them that if a player pulls you at the end of the game and says, "Can we have a chat?" at the end, win, lose, or draw, whatever. Obviously, the chat changes. Yeah. Whether if you've lost, you've got to be prepared. That chat's going to come a little bit more vehemently from the player. If you've won, then you're going to be a little bit more back and go, "Well, see, we got it right." But I think that's the time to maybe have the chat is afterwards, after the game. Not just pick up your bag and fuck off. That's just ridiculous, right?
No, of course.
Have the chat, and there'd be a reason. And whether the reason what you think's right or wrong, there'd be a reason. There'd be a reason, and there'd be a thought process to it, or there should be.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just whether that excuse or that reason is good enough for you at the time. But if you're being honest with it, that's it. If just being honest with the reason why you made that decision.
Yeah, of course.
You can't ask no more than that. You know, you can only pick 11 players. Every manager wants a 20-man squad.
Mm-hmm.
Every manager's 20-man squad will be a 36, 37, 38-man squad because you're constantly rotating the ones that are not in the starting lineup, you know, or the... and I think not every manager's the same. That you could, whether it be Ten Hag at Man United or it be my mate at Bovingdon, there's now... they'll have 7 players that you pretty much, 6 to 7 players that you pretty much know will play.
Yeah.
Well, they will. They'll have a one that you go, right, well, he'll play. So you're really rotating 5.
Yeah.
That are really the ones getting the chances. So it's just, if you're honest, just be honest with it. And if the boys don't like the honesty, then they don't like the honesty. But if you can just try to be, that's the best thing you can do.
Yeah. What's harder, being a parent or being a manager?
You get more babies when you're a manager. Being a parent's fucking hard. Different, isn't they? Different. You love your players, didn't you? You get given your kids. I think that's a choice. You choose your players. You don't choose your kids.
You don't choose your kids. No, you don't.
You get given them. It helps. It does help. It does help. It helps if you're managing your kids and then you're managing players.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm good at it or anything, but you try to manage. There'll be plenty. You can only there'll be some that say you're great, and there'll be some that say you're absolute shit.
Yeah.
It's the nature of the beast, like I said to you earlier. You don't do it for a popularity contest. You do it because it's something you want to do.
So you want to do, of course. You know? Yeah. Before we conclude, I just want to ask you one question.
Yeah.
The way you can relax now, though. It's
Were these questions you sent me earlier that I forgot to read?
Yeah, 100%. The way you can relax now, though. Were
these questions you sent me earlier that I forgot to read?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I forgot to read them.
Your top 5 managers of all time. In no particular order.
My top 5 managers that I've played for or that I watch.
And you watch.
Any manager that's managed QPR, that would be so.
Is that who you support?
Yeah, QPR.
So, guys, just to conclude,
Glory Hunter.
QPR. I didn't think you were a QPR fan.
Yeah. My brother used to play as well, didn't he?
Yeah. I read that actually.
Bad QPR. But to be honest, all my family is. You won't get a Bircham anywhere that ain't a QPR fan. It's
really.
They're all miserable.
Yeah.
They're all grumpy, and they've all. It's just something. My kids are the same.
Yeah.
Like, why the fuck we got to be QPR? You know, it's just in you. Not seen us won anything. It's just the family's from there originally, so yeah, all QPR.
Wait, you're being deadly serious? That all your top 5 favorite managers of all time are QPR fans?
Yeah.
Okay, better question. Name your top 5
that you've played for.
No. This is aside from being the managers. Top 5 best players that have played under you.
Oh,
some feelings are gonna get hurt now.
I'm gonna go with 11. I've got the 16 I've got now. They're the best. They're the current best. I've had some real good ones. I've had some great ones, but at different levels.
Do you know? I know it's a difficult question to answer because you've had, or you have currently some good defenders, and you've got some good attackers. Yeah. So I think that question. I know it's Well, just name 5. Any 5.
I'll name from probably the periods. Then I mean, when I first started at Bovingdon, Will Summerfield was unbelievable. Like I got him now.
Okay.
But for he'd come from MK Duns, but to play at step 7, he was just unbelievable at that level. And I'm still be amazed if Bovingdon's ever had a better player than him ever. Like definitely not in the last 25 years. He was just an unbelievable football from that level. I suppose the next year, Birko, Matty Bateman was on fire and got his move to Royston. I got him a trial at Barnet and all that, and at the time from step forward to there, and he looked like at one stage he was going to go to Barnet, and I took him to Hemel in the end with me. Another lad the following year, Jonathan Lacey, JJ, he was unbelievable. Ryan Canane, centre back, was unbelievable. Then it was Lewis Toomey from Birko, Ben Spall, who I got now with me at Leighton, Xavi, the goalkeeper. Yeah, they was all there at the time.
How tall is he, by the way?
Xavi, 7'8" he is. No, he's like 6'3". Yeah, well, I don't know. He's got a big hair, isn't he? He's got massive hair, so like he might cut that down. He might only be 6 foot, but he's
just depending on his hair,
just trim. Scruffy fucker. He's a great lad, honestly. What a bloke he is. Like, he don't miss anything. He's one of them. He don't. I remember we was at Birko once and we had a curry night, and he lives in London. Or where? You know what? I don't even know where the fuck he lives. Yeah. He lives somewhere in London. I know he lives in London because he comes up the M1, right? So and it was all snowing, so it was all called off, and it was taking hours to get anywhere, and you get all the phone calls. Oh, I can't make it. Ping, 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 ping. Everyone can't make it. So there's about 8 to 9 of us, and that fucker still come. We was on dessert though by the time he got there, but he still got there. Yeah. He still got there and was there. He had. While we're having afters, he's had his dinner and we had to wait behind her. And he drove all the way back home again in the snow. But brilliant. What a character. I know you got to be mad to be a goalkeeper, but he's great. Yeah. And then Hemel had some great players like Sammy Manton, was Southend's captain. Then I got him at Hemel. Samir Carruthers, Scott Morris, who's now playing at Southend. Chrissy Paul, I loved Chrissy Paul. I mean, I know he's at St Albans now, he's struggling a little bit, but ability-wise, I loved him. Steve Duke McKenna, we had there, QPR. He was great. So we had some real good players there. And then the lot I got now, I can't honestly. They're great. They're a great set of boys as well. Carl Connolly, wonderful footballer. Like, I shouldn't be playing. Yeah,
you've got I don't know if he's still there. You've got he's like 6'2", 6'3" centre mid.
Yeah, Luke Parman. Good player.
Yeah, he's a baller.
We'll keep him. Keep that quiet though. Really, that big get said it out. I'm trying to keep him away from everyone. But you can't not mention Leon up.
Yeah. He's a bagsman. Yeah. How many did he get last season?
I don't know. Do you know with Leon? I don't think he's been anywhere more than 10 games at one club in the last 4 or 5 years. Really? Yeah. He just. I suppose that's managing as well with him, but I just loved him straight away because I got him back. We got him back because Joycey knew him previously, and we got him back to Leighton. And in this year, he sort of trusted in me and what we're doing. But he's been he's been exceptional. Yeah. And it's not just his goals; it's his work rate. Like, he's the hardest working player on the pitch. He's caused me no problems off it. And I'm really close with him now. He's one of them that I'll take him wherever I go. I'm so close with him. Yeah. And what a lovely kid, what a lovely lad as well he is with it. But he's been phenomenal. But they've all been great. They've all so far. Yeah. I mean, fast forward in 19 games time, we do this. Yeah. I might slag the coat them all off. All fucking useless. But at the minute, they're all right. At the minute, they're good. But yeah, a lot of good players. It's hard to narrow it down because it's been different levels. But some real good lads as well. Real good lads.
No, but Lee, I just want to thank you once again for coming on. Wishing you all the best for the
thanks, mate.
The last 90 games of this season.
Yeah, we're gonna need it.
Yeah. No, we'll be keeping tabs on you lot's results and your league. So wishing you all the best. Thanks a lot for coming on.
Cheers, mate.
No problem. I appreciate that, guys. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, and we'll catch you guys very, very soon.
Let me tell you something now. This is ball hour, and we can ball all hour.